added quite a few transit service. We've added Sunday service. We can do more, and we just need to find the funding for it. One of the challenges is we are losing federal funding. Within 3 years, we will be losing another $900,000 from federal funding. And I don't know about you, but I don't have much faith that that will stop. From a bicycle perspective, we have gained bicycle-friendly status in the past couple years. I'd like to ratchet that up. We've also added quite a bit along for pedestrian infrastructure. We've added a neighborhood sidewalk program, which is focusing on connecting people to where they want to be. But we have a lot more to do. I hope to ride herd on the $25 million transportation funding that we are getting through the bonds, and I hope to make sure we get the money to finish up the rad tip projects. I will be last on your ballot, but I hope I'm your first vote.
Oh, that's another school thing. When you're alphabetically last, it just happens over and over and over again. Sorry, Gwen. Well, here's somebody else who comes towards the bottom of the alphabetic list. Dee Williams. Dee Williams, come on up. She's an Asheville native. She was born black and female and raised by her grandmother. Dee has worked in economic and small business development. She's the president of a construction company, DWI, and current chair of the Asheville-Buncombe NAACP Criminal Justice Reform Committee. She volunteers in a number of other capacities throughout the community. Here's Dee.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. One of the reasons why I ran for city council is because I'm a person who is obsessed with results. Let me just say that as far as transportation goes, I am the only black female that has ever run a company that has put your sidewalks down here in Asheville and torn them up. Yes. And also on the highways for DOT and for the federal government. So transportation is something that I've made a living at for quite a few years, and now I train other people how to make a living, how to bid, and how to produce some results. Let me say that my experience tells me that transportation and land use planning go hand in hand. In other words, if you want real connectivity, you must plan for it. You must also plan to finance whatever you care about. You can't say that you care about transit. You can't say that you care about multimodal transportation. And in the Asheville in Motion plan, the only thing that we say is that we hope that we'll find a champion. We are the champions, each and every one of us. And what I bring to the table is the ability to deliver a product and to find funding. Let me say that we cannot continue to borrow our way into financing what we want. We need to set up a wholly dedicated fund for multimodal. I want to ask for your vote. I want to also ask for transportation equity. As far as our boards and commissions, we need to bring people to the table who are low income. My name is Dee Williams, and I want you to vote for me. Thank you very much.
That was Dee Williams. Our next candidate is Rich Lee. Rich Lee's a 20-year Western North Carolina resident and a graduate of Western Carolina University. He followed a Peace Corps tour and came back to Asheville about 6 years ago. He's a financial advisor specializing in socially responsible investments at Edward Jones and Company. He lives in East Asheville and is a father of 4. Come on up, Rich. Tell us about it.
Hey, thank you all for coming out. It's a beautiful warm day, and I'm surprised more of you aren't wearing full suits. My name is Rich Lee. I'm so excited to talk about multimodal issues. I'm so excited to be here with Asheville on Bikes and Mike Sewell. I was a bike marshal for years and years of Asheville on Bikes events, so when council starts to get on the wrong route, you'll see me doing this sort of motion to get them back right. I'm also excited for the support of Just Economics for this event. I'm on Just Economics Policy Advocacy Committee, and they do a lot of work on transportation equity here in the city. I was also, for a number of years, a dedicated bus rider. First abroad when I lived in the Peace Corps, and then when I came back here 10 years ago, for the first 4 years I lived back, I rode the entire western to eastern end of the city. Around that time, I met Mike Sewell, my neighbor, and we got involved in an issue with tractor trailers driving up our neighborhood streets, and that expanded into a sidewalk issue, which expanded into a traffic calming issue. At the time, the city hadn't funded traffic calming for 10 years, and now we've got those lovely speed humps going down to the dog park. After I've been doing that for a while, they brought me onto the city's Greenway Committee, where I've served for 4 years, and I'm vice chair, and the city's Multimodal Commission, where I've been for the last 2 years. What have we been doing on that? So, we're about to see the results of some Multimodal Commission work here with Greenways, but we've got a lot more to do. You guys might have heard that our bids came in way higher than budgeted for, and so we've got some rapid work that the city needs to do to make sure those projects stay on track, especially my baby over here on the other side of the river on the Duke Power owned land. I'm pushing a policy through Multimodal and the city's legal department to get citizen-built, community-built greenways on the places where we intend to have them, and to require developers to build greenways on, or set aside land for greenways on land before it all gets developed. And that's all my time. Come see me afterwards.
That's Rich Lee. All right, if you're counting, we've had 8 council candidates. We have 2 more here that I know of. If I don't know you're here, you should make yourself known soon. Our next council candidate is Shanika Smith. Shanika Smith, come on up. She's a 4th generation Asheville native. And after spending time living and working in Winston-Salem and Charlotte, she returned to Asheville in 2011. She's been working on the preservation of African American interests and quality of life here in Asheville. Come on up, Shanika.
Thank you all for coming out. It's so beautiful to be in my neighborhood with such an array of faces out here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. Asheville on Bikes and Just Economics. Of course, my name is Shanika Smith. I'm the creator of Date My City, and I also work at Green Opportunities, where I'm the workforce development instructor around Ready to Work initiatives. Thank you. I'm a native of Asheville, but I've also lived in other parts of North Carolina for about 13 years. And when I returned to Asheville, I noticed that the profile of Asheville had shifted, where we were seen as the economic leader in Western North Carolina. But I also noticed that the community development in our community had been greatly strained, leaving a lot of the social institutions without support. We know that social institutions really support our family institution and also the rest of society. Labor, transportation, and housing initiatives have historically been the corners of economic security in America. I would love to see equitable solutions around our transportation infrastructure that support economic opportunity and upward mobility. Although our transportation system affects different people up and down the economic ladder and across the social, economic, and class spectrum, I hope that the focal point of our transportation planning will grow stronger and a more stable workforce. A workforce that supports stronger and more stable families. That is the focus of my dreams for Asheville, North Carolina. Stronger people who are part of stronger families, who lend to a stronger community, and I think we have the power to do it. Thank you. I'm Shanika Smith.
Thanks. That's Shanika Smith, and our last council candidate to talk to you tonight about transportation is Jan Kubanak. Jan Kubanak is a 30-year resident of Kenilworth. She's a board member of the Kenilworth Neighborhood Association and a formative member of CAN. She's a guardian ad litem, a retired school teacher, and a self-proclaimed troublemaker.
Boy, kids, Jan Howard Kubanek here. I see an opportunity here. I wonder how many people with disabilities have ever run for city council. This is just the phenomena to even get in, get out. I wonder how that affects the multimodal. Anyway, Jan Howard, and I'm going to sit down if you're not offended. 67 years old, former school teacher, years on the Kenilworth Residents Association board, CAN board, newsletter editor, guardian ad litem, My thing is social justice issues, education, free appropriate education for all the children. Multimodal is wonderful, what you all have pursued. I've been watching the budget, and some of these projects are icing on the cake. We have so many needs in this town. So I'm not sure I'm a multimodal candidate. Also, my house is smack in the middle of a greenway. And so there's a constant wondering what is going on with these projects. So right now, the council has rebudgeted. So some of the projects will be completed. It looks like a beautiful idea. I think there's infrastructure needs, human rights needs, and that's about it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's beautiful. But I am the act of getting into city council chambers to talk. Think about it.
That's Jan Kubanek. And I know that all of these council candidates have been coming at you really quickly and that 2 minutes isn't a lot of time. I also know that it takes a lot more than 2 minutes to drink a Wedge beer. So I bet a lot of them will be sticking around and that you can talk to them a little bit more afterwards. They also have lots of information up on their websites. One thing I do want to tell you about is, like Kim mentioned, early voting is now. You can vote now. You also should vote, can vote, should be excited to vote with 3 of your best friends in the primary on October 10th, and then the general election is on November 7th. So make sure you have that marked on your calendar. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mike Sewell. Thank you for letting me can't even talk anymore. Moderate. I probably need another Wedge beer. And here's Mike Sewell.
Thank you so much, Finn. Thank you everyone for turning out tonight for this candidates forum. We are going to regroup in the general on October 26th. We will host our second candidates forum focused on the issues of multimodal transportation, and this will be a little bit of a deeper dive with questions and answers. We developed this format specifically to give the candidates an opportunity to speak directly, and then provide time for a meet and greet and to be able to socialize. So please take advantage of that time. Remember, the ballot box is waiting for you, and how many others? 3. That's not going to get it done. Okay, come on, I need you here. The city needs you. How many people are you taking to the ballot box? 3. All right, I heard a couple people say 5, and I really want to salute you. Anyway, thank you all very much. We have some Asheville on Bikes board members in the house. Drew Van Cat right over here. Jim Grody right over here. Chris Berthume behind Matt Fusco. Anyone else here who's waiting? Oh, Rachel Reeser right and Lindsay's here too. Awesome. Please check in with them about Asheville on Bikes. Check out our website, ashevilleonbikes.com. Join our newsletter. Stay abreast of all of the twists and turns we are making. And a big thank you to Just Economics for joining us in this endeavor. Give them a big round of applause. All right. Thank you, Wedge. And ladies and gentlemen, let's carry on the conversation.
Good, how are you?
I am well, thank you. I'm glad you were able to make it.
Just getting a video of all the chemtrails.